vigil, marking and paying our respects to all the Muslim communities in Finsbury Park and indeed across the country after the awful attack that took place on Monday evening. I'd like us to first begin with a minute's silence to pay our respects to those that have been injured, and Makram Ali, who unfortunately lost his life on Monday. Okay, the minute silence is beginning now. Thank you very much for that. I think it's important. Yeah, please clap, that was nice. To pay our respects and to observe that minute silence. I think it's important that we treat all terrorist attacks as the same, regardless of who commits them. And I think we have to remember that the responsibility for terrorist attacks does not lie with any faith community or any other community. It is a responsibility of our intelligence and security services. And I think that we must stand up to racism and Islamophobia in these difficult times. But we must also celebrate our multicultural society, because I think a strategy that embraces anti-racism and that challenges Islamophobia helps to both counter the narrative that is used by far-right and fascist terrorists to recruit supporters for their own political gain, but it also helps to challenge the narrative of ISIS-type extremists who seek to divide Muslims from other communities in Britain. So I think let's remember that we are one society and we are many cultures and we must stand united. So I would like to now introduce our first speaker, who is Mohammed Kosbar, the chairman of Finsbury Park Mosque. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you very much, Sabi. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you all. I'm not going to talk too much today. I already spoke a lot yesterday and my voice almost gone. But what I'll do today, I'll just read some messages we receive from our neighbors, from our communities, from our friends who came and show us their support and their solidarity. This piece of messages tell the whole story. I'm gonna read a few from the messages we received since the attack happened 2 days ago. I pray for you and the people going through this time of suffer. Cherry. Nobody can destroy such a strong community. I hope everything fine. Keep strong. We stand with you, Laura. Peace and love. Together we can get through this. Love will always be stronger than hate. Fear has two meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours, and it is indeed, the choice is ours, and we choose that we will face everything and rise. God bless you. We are stronger, we are united. This is some of the messages we received, and I think just only to read these messages will show how stronger we are as a community and how united we are as a community. Just to let you know that some of our neighbors brought flowers, brought donations. They said, we want to give these donations to the victims. And this is how we expect from our community. And what I want to finish with, that I'd like to welcome all of you. I didn't start with that. And I really, or the mosque and the community here, admire your support and your solidarity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. I'd like to now welcome our next speaker, who is the NUT President, Louise Regan.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you very much for inviting me to say a few words. I won't speak for very long, but I am bringing solidarity from the National Union of Teachers to all of you here and to all of those affected. I, like all of you, was shocked when I woke up to the incident that had happened here, but it amazes me every time there is an incident. We see communities come out and stand together, so we know that it's a minority of people that do these things, and that communities want to oppose that. The National Union of Teachers has a long and proud history of fighting racism, fascism, and Islamophobia, and we know that it's on the increase, and we encourage all of our members to work with young people, to educate them about our diverse society, and to encourage them to embrace that society, to learn about it, and to welcome people into our communities from across the world. This is a wonderful city. I live in Nottingham, which is also a wonderfully diverse city. And I know that in Nottingham tomorrow, people will be on the streets in solidarity with you and following on from the incident. But, the last point I will make is this. The story that touched me most was the imam who stopped people hurting the perpetrator. He was so selfless in knowing that people were angry. We understand that people were angry, but he didn't want the person that had perpetrated the incident to be hurt. And I think that just reflects our communities, that we are not for hatred, we are for love and tolerance, and that is how we should promote and build our society, a society of love and tolerance. So please go out and share the words of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Louise. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, who is Father Jonathan Brewster, the Area Dean.
Peace be with you. Every one of us must feel the symbolism of this moment as we stand together. People of difference coming together in solidarity around a common theme. When I stood outside the Muslim Welfare House as part of the great get-together event on Saturday evening, I stood among friends of this community, and I looked up at the banner describing that event, and the banner simply said, "We stand together." This is an incredibly powerful message. Few people in the world can deny that human beings are born with equal rights, and yet far too many people are victimized because they belong to a particular group or community. This is unacceptable. We are much better as a community than that. As people of Islington, whoever we are, wherever we live, we should not be dominated by a culture of fear. And so what better place to be this evening than to be with one another in our stand against hate, crime and intolerance. And as I stand here this evening with friends and colleagues who represent this wonderful community of Islington that we live in, I am praying again for peace and for a greater understanding of our differences. Ignorance of the other, whoever they are, breeds fear. Fear breeds intolerance. Intolerance breeds the kinds of atrocities that we've seen in Finsbury Park, in London, and right across the world. Let us educate one another. Let us love one another. Let us stand firm together. Let us strive for peace. And let us send out a strong signal of hope from Islington to the rest of the world that those who try to divide us will not succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, who is someone you all know very well, who is the local MP for Islington North and the leader of the Labour Party. Please give a very warm welcome to Jeremy Corbyn.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you all. We remember Makram Ali, who died a couple of days ago, and we think of all those that were grievously and painfully and brutally injured in that disgraceful act of terror on the streets of our area, just off Seven Sisters Road there on Wadcote Street, when this person drove a van knowingly into a group of people tending somebody who was having a health crisis at that time. An appalling and despicable act of terror against a wholly innocent local community. And the response of all of us and of the community is highly significant. It was people who were tending Makram who then prevented anyone injuring the person who had perpetrated this ghastly incident, to make sure that he was properly arrested, taken away, and will face the full force of the law in due course. The response of our community has been extraordinary. I phoned Mohammed Kosba about half an hour later when I'd heard of the incident. I live very nearby, and I phoned Tufik Kasimi of Muslim Welfare House. And I have to say, our whole community, all of us, are in debt to Mohammed and Tufik for the work they do in both their organisations and institutions, and all the teams that are with them. This isn't the first time they've faced a crisis. It's not the first time they've had to stay up all night looking after people. It's not the first time there's been an attack on them and on the whole community. Yet they are there all the time for everybody. And when I went over to Muslim Welfare House at 3 o'clock in the morning, they were all there working away, trying to support the community and bring about peace, to understand what had happened and tend for those that have been so badly injured. That is the response of the community. And I'm very grateful to everyone that's come here this evening. Come here to show what our community response is about this. Think about it. Just think about it for a moment. Those that set off bombs in London on 7/7 and killed people from this borough, those that supported, and that person who set off that bomb in Manchester that took so many lives, those that killed people with knives on London Bridge, and this incident, were all designed to achieve the same thing. Attacks on a community that will bring about a division of all of our communities. The only response can ever be one of bringing communities together in solidarity and support for each other at a time of crisis. That is the only response that there can ever be. We are not going to be divided because we're Muslims, because we're Christians, because we're Jews, because we're Hindus, because we're Buddhists, because we're humanists. We're not going to be divided. We're going to be united together in opposing this awful trend and this awful attack that's taken place. And I'm very proud to represent this community in Parliament. I'm very proud to represent Finsbury Park in all its faiths, in all its diversity and all its differences. Because you know what? Those faiths, that diversity and those differences makes us more united than anybody can ever do who tries to divide us. And of course, a community that is divided cannot achieve things together. If you divide people on the basis of faith, on the basis of race, on the basis of language, then what do? You blame somebody. You blame somebody because there's a problem in the community, and when that blame has run its course, you blame somebody else. And at the end of that, what have you achieved? Have you built a new school? Have you trained a new doctor? Have you employed a new nurse? Have you inspired a child to what they can achieve in their life? No. All you've done is sown the seeds of hatred that go from one generation to another and make us more divided and more dangerously divided. If we want, as we all do, a future for all of our children, a future of peace, a future of even better education, of better health care, and of greater prosperity and sharing the wealth of the earth for future generations, then you don't achieve it by dividing communities and blaming each other. You recognize something. We are strong together and we can all learn something from each other. And so in this time of sadness, this time of fear that so many people have, let's reach out in strength. Let's support people going through the most unbelievable stress and pain now as their loved ones are lying in the Royal London Hospital hoping that they recover, as they're frightened of racist violence and racist attacks and racist remarks on the street. So let us treat each other with respect. Let us challenge anyone that uses any kind of discriminatory or racist language in any shape or form. Not in an aggressive way, just politely say to them, you wouldn't like that said about you, don't say it about anybody else. Live together and respect each other. And when we live together and respect each other, we realize that we all are unique. We all are philosophers in our own way. We all have our different forms of ambition and imagination that we can all achieve. And we cherish that and we learn from each other. And that's what makes our society so much stronger. So if there's anything good that's come out of this horrible incident on Sunday night, during the month of Ramadan, when people should be celebrating the iftar supper, looking forward to Eid and the celebrations that go with it, the person who did that thought they could divide our community and they could do the same everywhere else. Well, it isn't going to work. It isn't going to work here. It's not going to work in Birmingham. It's not going to work in Leicester. It's not going to work in Manchester. It's not going to work anywhere because we will not allow it to work anywhere. And so, our message tonight is simply this. We're here tonight in support of the Mosque and Muslim Welfare House because of the stress they're going through. If this mosque is attacked, if a synagogue is attacked, if a church is attacked, if any person is attacked, we are all under attack because of that. Let's have that sense of solidarity of all communities. Bring them together in that sense of unity. I'm very proud to represent this community, and I think what we've achieved in Finsbury Park of that sense of understanding of all our communities is something that I would like to see learnt from and maybe copied elsewhere, because we do have this incredible sense of coming together. That's why we're all here on the streets tonight. And you know what? If anybody tries anything on again against any of our communities, we're going to be here in even greater numbers showing that same sense of solidarity. So, thank you all for being here. Thank you for all the different faith communities that have come together this evening to show their support and solidarity. And you know what? Bringing people together gives joy, gives strength, brings happiness, and gives us the chance of a better, more peaceful, more prosperous world in the future. Thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you very much to Jeremy Corbyn. I'd like to please stay because we've got a few more speakers, so please stay and listen to the rest of the speakers. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, who is the CEO of the Muslim Welfare House, outside of which that awful attack took place in the early hours of Monday morning. Please welcome Tawfiq Kasimi.
Thank you very much for being here today. I have to say that I was overwhelmed and so happy to see so many people of you. I have seen yesterday thousands and thousands of people coming to our center, showing the support and showing us love and peace. I'm so proud to be part of this community. Muslim Welfare House been working in Finsbury Park area for the last 40 years. We always encourage unity, harmony between different community. We work with IFF, we work with Christian Muslim Forum, with many faith and also people of non-faith at all. We welcome people at our center all the time, and the support we received was fantastic. This is the real fabric of this community here at Finsbury Park. The horrible and horrific attack does not represent us in any form or shape. This guy came outside of our area, and he should keep outside of our area. We don't want his kind of people here. We don't accept terrorism. We don't accept extremism in this area, and we want to be safe. We have to thank the authority who did a lot to protect us, who've been with us since very early hours of this incident. Big thanks to Jeremy Corbyn, to the council, to Councillor Watts, to the police, who showed us a great leadership, great service. We are greatly thank you as well. Thank you very much for your support that you have provided for us. I have to say, last thing is, we ask the media to act responsible, not to give these people a platform. You please show unity, show peace, show harmony, show the good work that Muslim Welfare House, the mosque, is doing in the ground, rather than giving this terrorist platform, showing the atrocity they are doing. Our hearts and prayers are with the victims staying right now in hospital, with Mr. Ali family as well, who passed away last night. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much in solidarity. I'd like now to welcome our next speaker, who is the leader of Islington Council. Please welcome Richard Watts.
Thank you, all of you, for being with us today. Give yourselves a big cheer and a round of applause for joining us in solidarity this evening. I was on site yesterday from about 2 in the morning, and I want to pay tribute to Tufik and the staff at the Muslim Welfare House, and to Cosbar and the staff and the team here at Finsbury Park Mosque for the incredible bit of community leadership and the job they did yesterday, supporting this community through the most difficult times imaginable. I think they deserve a massive round of applause as well. And I'll say this, I've lived in this community 20 years. I chose to live in this community because of its diversity, because of its vitality, because of the excitement of Finsbury Park. And this community is stronger than some idiot terrorist who's going to come here from another bit of the country to try to drive it apart. They are going to fail, because look around us today. This is the strength of our community. This is the real Finsbury Park, and this is why it's a fantastic place to live. And I also want to say this. We have to think very carefully as a society about the forces out there that are trying to drive us apart. I'll tell you one story about yesterday. The only bit of yesterday I actually enjoyed was I was asked to go on CNN for an interview, and I thought, look, I'm only a council leader. I'm only going to get one opportunity in my life to talk straight to the American people. So I went out of my way to criticise Donald Trump for the year. Because we know the messages of Islamophobia we get from people like him have effects here in Britain, have effects here in London. And we have to say, so there's some pretty serious questions about our media. So we know about radicalisation, but if you look at how people like the terrorists yesterday got radicalised, maybe you want to have a look at our media. And I urge restraint from them. And finally, I want to say this. We've got real problems in this community. Our problems are about a lack of housing, a lack of decent jobs, a lack of investment, a lack of some cuts to services. Are any of those problems solved by what happened here yesterday? No. Are they solved by having a government and having a council and having a community that works together so everyone can get along in this community. That's what we're on. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Richard. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, who is the chairman of the Muslim Association of Britain. Please welcome Anas Al-Tikriti.
Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, friends, Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you all. My sympathies, condolences, prayers, supplications go to the family of Makram Ali, as well as all the victims that lie in hospital today as a result of yesterday's cowardly, brutal, heinous act of terrorism perpetrated against this fantastic borough and this wonderful community. It's tragically funny that whilst the perpetrators of the crimes of Manchester and of London Bridge, they might think that they lie on opposite sides of the spectrum from the killer of yesterday, but actually they belong to the very same label. They are all killers. They are all murderers. They are all terrorists. And unless all of us, starting from the very top, from government, from the police and security, along through the media, trickling down to the grassroots, recognize that the radicalization, if we must, that the turning towards violence of a frustrated, angry person is exactly the same, whether it happens within a faith community or a non-faith community. Unless we recognize that, we won't be able to solve the problem. Exactly like we want the oxygen deprived from extremist circles, from preachers of hate and division, we must also deprive far-right, bigoted, neo-Nazi, fascist, racist elements within society of oxygen as well. I must say that whilst I would be the first to recognize that large swathes of the media have acted responsibly since the attack yesterday, I must say that we still have a lot to learn, and there is much to gather in terms of lessons that we all take on board. Make no mistake, my friends from the media, make no mistake, allowing bigots like Tommy Robinson on your screens is a poke in your eye, salt in the wound, offense to every single member of this community. And I don't just mean the Muslim community, every single member of this community that was hurt so hard. If we are to take anything today, and this is where I will end, if we are to take away from what happened yesterday, is that this is who we want to be. This is who we are. Colourful, of all creeds, of all races, of all colours, of all faiths, of all religions, all standing together, all speaking the same language, all saying the same things, all dreaming the same dream, and any attempt to divide us will fail. Any attempt to break us will fail. The narrative needs to change. Extremism has no color, has no creed, has no faith. Violence has no religion, has no color, has no ethnicity. Violence is violence, and victims of violence are victims of violence. Let's take that away. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Anas. I'd like to welcome now our next speaker, who is the daughter of the late Mohammed Salim. Please welcome Maz Salim.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. My heartfelt condolences and du'as to all the casualties of the Finsbury Park terrorist attack. My family have personal experience of Islamophobia will live with me and my family for the rest of our lives. It'll remind us what happens when hatred in society goes unchallenged and people who hate are not stopped. On the 29th of April 2013, my father, Mohammed Salim, was leaving the mosque after Isha Namaz 4 years ago in Small Heath, Birmingham. He was followed home by neo-Nazi terrorist and mosque bomber Pavlo Lapshin. Pavlo Lapshin was only in the country for a week. He followed my father home and stabbed him to death. He went on a 3-month bombing campaign and put bombs outside 3 mosques in Walsall, Tipton and Wolverhampton. This was one of the biggest acts of terrorism in the UK, yet today so many people don't even know about it. So we need to challenge the media narrative that blames Muslims for their own predicament. We need to challenge the right-wing government that blames Muslims for the rise of Islamophobia. Islamophobic attacks right now are rising to unprecedented level. Muslim women are being attacked on our streets, elderly men are being attacked on our streets, and this is all thanks to the right-wing narrative and the media narrative that consistently blames Muslims every single time, and I'm getting really sick of it. Today, actually reading all the front pages, there was only one page that deemed this attacker as a terrorist. The rest of them did not call it what it was, a terrorist attack, and that's appalling. Now we need to stand up to racism, we need to stand up to Islamophobia. Please don't let these racist Islamophobes divide us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mad. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker, who is the co-convener along with me of Stand Up to Racism. Please welcome Wayman Bennett.
I'd like to start off by thanking everybody for coming here, because we are the community. I want to thank the mosque for organising this. I want to thank the local community for standing solid against all those people that seek to divide us. But I also have to say this: I am tired of this mosque being attacked. I am tired of bombs being placed outside this mosque, of powder being sent to it. And I have to say this, that some of the people in the highest authority, and I do mean Theresa May, you see, I went to Grenfell Towers this week, and I have to say that the people there who lost their lives, they lost their lives to willful neglect. They lost their lives to division. And we have to say we don't want that to happen again. And we have to stand in unity against those people that seek to divide us. And the people that seek to divide us, I'm tired of the Muslim community being blamed for what they're not responsible for. Yes. They're not responsible for terrorism. Because if you start with that narrative of scapegoating people, you end up with people like Tommy Robinson. He can't even say his real name. His name is Stephen Yoxley. He starts off with a lie. It is a lie that the reason why we have division in our society is that you blame a particular religion, a creed, or what sexuality people have. We have to stand in unity against all these people that seek to divide us. But we also have to have hope. We also have to have hope for a better society. Where does that hope come from? I remember a man from the BNP who said he was going to be an MP in Barking. What did we do? We kicked him out. I remember Stephen Yoxley when he used to lead the EDL and he came to East London, and we stood and we said, you shall not pass, and he didn't pass. And the reason why we did that, it was the people themselves that stood together, Muslim, black, white and Jew, and said that you shall not pass. And we'll say this now, you racist who try and attack this mosque, you won't pass. You will not divide us, you will not break us, because every time our community is tested, we will break you. But we do have to organise. We do have to organise. And I would like people to stand together with Jeremy Corbyn when he spoke up and said that we have to have a more equal society that opposes racism, Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. We have to celebrate what's great about Finsbury Park, is that we are all together. Let's celebrate that and bring the celebration for a future for our children and for our hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayman. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker, who is a local councillor. Please welcome Councillor Asima Sheikh.
Thank
you. First of all, I want to say how proud I am to be a Labour councillor for Finsbury Park ward. We were all shocked by the terrorist attack on the streets of Finsbury Park on Sunday night. And yesterday, as we were walking around with Jeremy Corbyn talking to members of the local community, we could see that there were feelings of shock, sadness, worry and fear. But you know what? We're a lovely community here in Finsbury Park, and we're a strong community. We always come together to overcome and to unite against people that would seek to divide us. I mean, this was shown in a beautiful way last night when hundreds of people came out onto the streets with flowers and roses and handed them out to people that were going to prayers in Muslim Welfare House for iftar. I want to say thank you to those people. Thank you for coming out and showing how a strong and united people we are, and we won't let hate divide us. I also want to say thank you to everybody here for coming out to show solidarity and love to our community here in Finsbury Park. I was so proud yesterday of Muslim Welfare House, of Finsbury Park Mosque and the Islington Faiths Forum, who showed great leadership in providing community reassurance and showing unity. I'm proud to be a part of this family of Finsbury Park. I just really want to say, look, we're a lovely community here and we're strong. We're multicultural, we're multi-faith, and we always come together when times are tough. And we've done that in the past and we're going to do that in the future. We always overcome. I'm proud to be a representative of Finsbury Park Ward, and I love Finsbury Park because it's so diverse. But you know what? It's cohesive and very strong in its diversity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Asima. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, who is the CEO, Executive Director of the East London Mosque. Please give a warm welcome to Dilwar Hussain Khan.
Thank you, baby. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I'm really pleased to be here today and showing our solidarity with our brothers and sisters, our fellow human beings, our fellow citizens of Finsbury Park. This time yesterday we were holding a civil vigil in your support in front of our mosque, where our local MP and our Mayor John Biggs and many of the scholars were present. The media and the government sometimes they're blaming the mosques for extremism. I'm not aware, I know most of the mosques in UK, I'm not aware of any mosque that is promoting extremism. There's no mosque, is supporting terrorism, yet the attacks are on the mosque. Our mosque, the East London Mosque, is targeted by the EDL. Many times they try to march in front of our mosque, and with the support of our friends with the United Against Fascism, Wyman Bennett and Sabi Dalu and other colleagues, we managed to stop them from marching in front of our mosque. We're hearing that this Saturday they're trying to come again. The Saturday or Sunday, they're trying to, they're coming to Westminster, and whenever they come to central London, they try to pass by our mosque. So all of us, we need to stand united against this kind of fascism, this kind of hatred against the Muslim community. And this hatred against our community is, we think, is a hatred against all community. Yes. And all of us, we need to stand together against this bigotry and against this hatred. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dilwar. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, who is chair of the Stop the War Coalition. Please welcome Morad Qureshi.
Thank you, Saba, for introducing me. A lot has already been said, and I'll try not to repeat it. Firstly, Salam Alaikum, peace be upon you. Can I firstly offer our sincerest condolences and sympathies to all those maimed and injured from Monday night's attack. It's a horrific attack, not only an attack at the mosque and the Muslim Welfare Centre, but the communities of Finsbury Park. That's why we're here to defend them. Can I say that Stop the War has right from the outset campaigned against Islamophobia. Unfortunately, it's been one of the consequences of the war on terror, which Muslims in the UK have had to face. Events like this fall into a pattern which we need to respond to, and we are by being here at this vigil. I'm here to give not only solidarity as an organisation here based in Finsbury Park, but also as a fellow Londoner from other parts of London, which I know also share the sentiments being expressed by many people from Islington here. Can I finally say, I do think the media has dealt with this more responsibly than other things, but I do ask the press with their headlines should be far more cautious with their sensationalist headlines. We've seen this and time again. A lone wolf terrorist from Wales getting a van here has to have been activated by something. As of yet, we've not heard of any right-wing background that he's got, but something has agitated him, and it's no doubt the headlines in the press regularly do play on people's minds and get people acting as this lone wolf terrorist did. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for showing solidarity to the Mosque, the Muslim Welfare Centre, and let's keep this effort together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Morad. Can I just give my apologies to the people at the back who can't hear properly? We'll do our best to speak as loud as we can. We've just got a couple of more speakers. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, who is from City in Islington, UCU. Please welcome Sean Vernell.
Thank you. I'd like to send solidarity greetings from City in Islington College, University College Union. We represent lecturers at the college, and also from our national union, solidarity for all those who have been killed and hurt in this horrific attack. I'd like to read a statement out which our college union sent today. It says this: "We are shocked and deeply saddened to hear of the news that a member of our community has been killed and a number of others seriously injured in a terrorist attack at Finsbury Park Mosque. We send our heartfelt condolences to the families of the bereaved and injured. We are horrified that an innocent person has been killed while participating in the holy month of Ramadan. Racism and Islamophobia has no place in our society. Lecturers at City in Islington College are proud to teach in a college that has at its core an ethos of celebrating diversity and multiculturalism. We have worked closely over many years with Finsbury Park Mosque to ensure that all those in our community benefit from the educational opportunities that the college offers. We will continue to strive to ensure that those who seek to divide our communities are not allowed to poison the harmonious relationship we have built up over many years. We call upon the press and the government to cease the campaign of hate and intolerance towards the Muslim community. We offer our total support and solidarity at this very difficult time. Please do not hesitate to contact what we can help you whenever we are." That's our message of solidarity, but I would like to finish by saying this. When the speakers have just said, when we talk about as a teacher trying to ensure that we do instill the values of anti-racism and unity, what doesn't help are things like the prevent agenda, which this government tries to force it down us. The prevent agenda is divisive in our communities. It creates distrust in our classrooms. Why is they bringing it about? Because they are brought about by people who don't like multiculturalism. They're distrustful of society that shows such breadth and diversity. And that's why we have something like the prevent agenda. So if you really want to create diversity and multiculturalism and to ensure again that nothing like this ever happens again, we must stop the prevent agenda and this government for bringing it out. Solidarity.
Thank you very much, Sean. I'd like to add that we are actually in favour of a counter-terrorism strategy, but it has to be one that actually works. And we have had 4 attacks in the last 3 months, so clearly there is a problem going on. And we have to make sure that we actually counter terrorism and not just target Muslim communities. And all of us, I'm sure, can agree with that. Yes. I'd now like to welcome our final speaker, who is here representing the Woodcraft folk and lives locally. Please welcome Richard Kirkwood.
First of all, of course, I'm here on behalf of the Woodcraft folk, and I have the apologies of our National Secretary, who lived in Holloway and had to go to a neighbourhood forum talking about policing and so much similar issues. Solidarity with the people in this mosque. I don't know how many free cups of tea and buns I've had in this mosque in the community meetings. I know how hard this mosque has worked to make it a centre of the local community. But I want to talk about the position of children and young people in this world today. I represent a children's and young people's movement which believes in cooperation, in social justice, in equality, in international friendship and in peace. But I know that the messages that are being sent out to our young people by newspapers like the Daily Mail and by other media outlets go directly against that. They encourage hatred. They get young people thinking the wrong way. So the message that we have to send out today is not just one of solidarity, but the fact that we have to go back out into our communities and fight against racism, fight against fascism, fight against Islamophobia, and make sure that our children grow up not in a world which is divided and hateful, but in a world based on the solidarity, friendship and cooperation that I can see around us here. Let's go out there and make sure that that happens.
To a close. I want to thank you all for coming and showing your solidarity and observing the minute silence. And I'd like to leave you with one message, and that is we are one society, many cultures, and we must stand united. Thank you very much.
No problem.